Hello, I am Tyler from the internet, and I think you smell great from there. I'm just here to introduce this video that originally aired on February 24th, 2026 as part of the Posters Madness Fundraising Event, as counter-programming to the State of the Union. It was a great event. We raised a lot of money, and I was thrilled to be involved. So thanks so much for having me, Claire and Tekla. My segment was pre-recorded, and for a lot of various issues, you know how technology works, my video was really quite laggy and maybe a bit hard to follow, so I'm uploading it here so that you can get it uninterrupted. And so here's the video, The Vital Unimportance of Collective Nouns, which starts now. Hello, my betters. I am Tyler from the internet, and you can't be totally sure that I'm wearing pants. I was pleased and honored to be asked to participate in this fundraiser for mutual aid for the brave helpers of Minnesota and for the BIPOC trans community of Portland. I found to my chagrin that all of my hot takes were either things that I bet you everybody agreed with. Who's going to defend leaf blowers, for example? So I elected for a silly take that I'm going to turn into an unhinged take just for the sake of doing it. So here goes. Collective nouns are fun and awesome and ridiculous, and so my unhinged take is if you want to use any of them, you got to use all of them. I'm sure most of you know about collective nouns, but just to make sure we're all on the same page, a bit of history. Juliana Berner's OSB was born in 1388 to, it's speculated, either a courtier or a lord of the manor, but not much is really known about her until she became a Benedictine nun and writer. She is credited for lots of writings in field sports, hunting, fishing, hawking, heraldry, but the reason she's relevant now is that it is just as likely that she wrote the Book of St. Albans as it is that she never existed at all. This is pretty common if you go far enough back in history, see Arthur or Jesus, although I suppose they're on opposite ends of that particular spectrum. I could do a whole video essay on her and her works. It's fascinating stuff. But either way, the book exists, and it is a little treatise on the gentlemanly pursuits of hunting. But at the end, in an appendix, she puts down 165 collective nouns, and this starts a trend that was really quite fashionable for a long time, both jokey and sincere in equal measure, and it's what gets us terms that we still use today, like pride of lions or a murder of crows. But this collective nouning also gives us words that we probably think of as really quite logical, like a litter of puppies or a pack of wolves. They're not logical, they're silly, they're just made up. What you might not realize is that it doesn't just apply to animals. Collective nouning is how we get a panel of judges, it's how we get a fleet of vehicles, it's how we get a doctrine of doctors. Okay, that one's out of common usage, so is a melody of harpists, but that's my point. And I guess some collective nouns are words with some etymological sense if you look for it, but even back then in the Book of St. Albans, you had a band of men, which was made up at the time, and a galaxy of attractive ladies. That one's pretty funny. And look, as silly as this convention is, I think it's important and maybe even kind of vital, because a pride of lions, a pack of wolves, we say these things without thinking about it. They feel natural to us because of how long we've said them. But the real reason we say a murder of crows is because it's so much fun, Jan. And that's the point. It's silly. It's awesome. Think of how much better life would be if, on the rare occasion when you had to refer to a group of tailors, you had to call them a disguising. A blast of hunters is just a blast to say, and a hack of smokers really conveys they shouldn't be doing that. Of course, the animal names are where the most fun is, and so we've got to bring them all back. I mean, it's where you get swarm of bees, brood of chickens, although it can also be peep of chickens, and I think that's better. Herd of deer, team or yoke of oxen, colony of bats, band of coyotes. We've heard of all these, but a tower of giraffes? That's amazing. We've just forgotten. A business of ferrets, a conspiracy of lemurs, a parliament of owls, a flamboyance of flamingos, a prickle of porcupines, a Roomba of rattlesnakes, a wisdom of wombats. Wombats aren't wise. Look at these tubby little dorks. They're not wise at all. I love this so much. I love all animals, and I think they deserve silly little names. And so everybody's got to use them all. You can't use a murder of crows if you don't call them a zeal of zebras. You can't call them a pride of lions if you don't call them a pandemonium of parrots. You should not find this onerous. You should find it delightful. And I don't know, to make this completely unhinged, if you use some and not others, you got to go off on an iceberg and never be seen from again. Get with the program. This is fun. We're having fun. Mandatory fun. And to round this out, a reminder that collective nouns aren't only used for animals, and to acknowledge that language evolves, we're going to need a new set of collective nouns to really get this fun going. So if a group of lions is a pride, then a group of nerds is a shame. If a group of baboons is a troop, then a group of reply guys is a poop. Obviously, a bunch of previously existing musicians is already a supergroup. We've got that covered. If a group of fish is called a school, then a group of mutants is called a school for the gifted. By the way, there's no unique collective noun for Wolverine, and I think it should be a bub. amoeba. A group of zombies is a shamble. A group of Vulcans is a judgment. A group of magicians would be a prestige. A group of politicians is a bribe. A group of chefs is a hostility. A group of American football players is a concussion. A group of regular football players is an overreaction. A group of immortals or Highlanders is a gathering. A group of cigarettes is already a pack, and a group of smokers is a hack, so I guess a group of stoners would be a hacky sack. A group of tech bros would be a subscription. A group of Mandalorians would be a way. A group of hobbits would be a shire, right? A group of elves would also be a judgment. A group of dwarves would be a beard. A group of elves, dwarves, hobbits, men, and angels disguised as men would be a fellowship. A group of goblins would be a gobble-ghoul. I don't know why, I just like it. A group of Federation officers is called a USS for some reason. We'll retcon it. A group of Earth's mightiest heroes is called an Avenging or a Justice League. Pick one and spend the rest of your life fighting with the people that pick the other. A group of white people is called a clan or a rally. A group of black people is called a group of black people. Haven't we done enough? A group of lesbians is called a U-Haul caravan. A group of bisexuals is called a stealth. A group of tulpas is a black lodge. A group of redditors is a please leave. A group of fascists is a GOP. A group of corporately captured shills willing to capitulate if not openly collaborate with fascists is a Democrats, right? A group of Cybertrucks is a rust or an embarrassment. A pod of dolphins is taken, so a group of podcasters would either be a fallacy or a brought to you by Better Health, a Raycon of podcasters. A group of manosphere men is a chode, a felt of Muppets, a neglect of boomers, a detachment of Gen Xers, a betrayal of millennials, a ghosting of Gen Zers, a 6-7 of alphas, a delulu of alphas, a skibbity of alphas. And of course, a group of blue sky posters is a skeeting. Tip your waiters. Because of how right I am about collective nouns and how I have no doubt convinced you, please feel free to brainstorm so that we can get a comprehensive list of official collective nouns going that we all must use or risk the iceberg. But more importantly, make sure you donate to these worthy causes of mutual aid. Thanks so much for Claire and Tekla for having me be a part of this. Bye forever. And we're back. That was my video, The Vital Unimportance of Collective Nouns. Thanks so much for watching. It was originally aired as part of the 2026 Posters Madness fundraising event for Minnesota and Portland. There's a link in the description if you want to donate now. Thanks in advance. We would really appreciate it. I also just want to say this was sort of a dry run for me. You can find me on Blue Sky and also regularly guest starring in also Ashley's YouTube channel. She's one of my best friends and I adore her so much. I love going on her channel. I'll be on there in the future. I just had something pop today. And she's been trying to get me to do my own YouTube channel for a while. So have a few other people. So I thought I would use this as a fun excuse to see if it was something I liked to do. So that's it. There's a link in the description if you want to donate. Yeah. So if you liked this video, let me know in the comments because I'm trying to figure out if I want to do more YouTube content. It seems like something that I could have fun doing if there are people that maybe want to watch. So let me know. Either way, thanks so much for having me as part of the Posters Madness fundraiser. Oh, and by the way, the fundraiser was a complete success. The initial goal was for $5,000 and we blew through that in the first 2 hours. So congratulations to everybody for participating. Thanks so much for being involved. It was an honor to sit alongside you all. And thanks so much. And we'll see you next time if there is a next time. And bye forever.